Peace, assalamu alaikum, hotep, shalom, namaste, jumbo, ashe. Did I say everything? Good afternoon, all the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am NapahShadah. As you see from the title, I want to talk a little bit about a very interesting topic, cloning. Cloning is not science fiction. It is scientific. We know that um, a few species have been cloned successfully. Most popular would be the sheep cloning. We know that a lot of genetically modified organisms are out there. There's a lot of discussion about cloning. However, what is really difficult for us to accept is that human beings are being cloned. There is information on it. It's not science fiction. It's successful, and it's being done. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about biometrics and transhumanism, of course, tying into AI. I don't want to make this too long because it's just commentary. I haven't been doing lessons. Well, these are lessons, but I haven't been doing like in-depth PowerPoint and, presentations because I've been really busy. However, in my offline life. However, I do want to bring this up. So cloning. So what is the purpose of cloning? Why would we, if we sat back and we thought, okay, why would we want to clone human beings? We get the whole idea of cloning animals, and we get the idea of genetically modifying food. But why would we want to clone humans? Well, one big reason is for longevity, immortality, right? There are organizations that promote transhumanism. Transhumanism is a movement that's been around a long time. It's not a new concept. I believe it really started really to pick up speed in the 50s. However, transhumanism has been an idea since, at least documented as an idea since the Renaissance, the Reformation. People say, well, the Reformation was the schism between, the church and Catholic Church and the Protestants. Well, yes, on paper and surface, that's true. However, transhumanism ties into humanism, okay? And humanism was the first concept that we can see on paper where mankind, human beings, are said to say, you are the power, you're God. So why, this takes me back to cloning. What would be the benefit of cloning humans? Well, being godlike, right? Creating other humans beyond just sexual reproduction, okay? Creating other humans that, let's say, one already exists, like, let's say, human number 1 or human being number 283. That human being we'll name that person Stan. So Stan, as a transhumanist, as someone who says, yes, I want to be cloned, knows, well, if I die, there's no such thing really. I'll just be able to re-up or download my consciousness into a new body, a new organic flesh, a new organically fleshed body. And that's where the cloning comes in. See, science has found, I say this all the time, the discussion of consciousness is a very deep one, and the ignorance of people saying, oh no, consciousness is only in the brain, and no, there are ways to to embody consciousness into, or I should say even to encapsulate consciousness, to harvest consciousness, not all consciousness, not the all embodied, not the entirety of consciousness, but a very obvious side of consciousness. If you're staying with me, the part that we see, okay, this is who you are, Stan. You you know your surroundings as a sentient being, Stan. How do I know you know? Because you are responding to stimuli around you, Stan, not just through the five senses stimuli, but beyond your five senses, your sixth sense, which we call spiritual, but it's really beyond that. It's like an unexplored side, or we are now exploring it. It's like an unexplained, not fully explored side of the person, that they can't really say why phenomenon happens, or why we interact with things phenomenally, like a yawn. When I yawn, you yawn. That hasn't fully been explained, right? But so I just want to throw that out there, that would be like something to say, oh, that's sixth sense. Even though it occurs physiologically through the five senses, it is a sixth sense. That's how I talk about the ether too. The ether, there are air, water, fire, earth, and then we have the ether. So there's five elements. The fifth element, remember that movie? It's not just a movie, it's a concept. So anyway, I'm not really digressing, but I am definitely expanding and becoming more complex in what I'm saying. So going back to cloning, why would we want to be cloned? Why would we want to clone? What would be the benefit of cloning humans? We have over 7 billion humans, maybe even at this point 8 billion humans in the world today. Why would we want to clone? Because it is part of the humanistic ideal that we have power over everything. Goes back to the God mind, the God consciousness, the God concept. Man has forever not been seeking out God, but has forever wanting to be God. I'll say that again. Not only does mankind throughout history want to seek God, man wants to be God. So, humanism, transhumanism. Now we are with transhumanism, because we have the concept of, okay, I want to be God. Oh, we are the ones that control science. That's a humanistic ideology. We do everything as humans. We have the power. So transhumanism says, now that we know that we have the power, we must prove it as gods. How will we prove it? We must create immortality. Immortality already exists, but man wants to take hold of it and say, I'm going to create immortality. How are you going to do that? Well, first I'm going to harvest consciousness. How are you going to harvest consciousness? The cloud, Google footprints, your what's it called? Your IT footprint. Not just we're not talking about the flesh, the carbon footprint. We're talking about your technology. And that's a type of spirituality. We got caught off guard as a society. We didn't think about that. Do you know you have a specific keystroke that is biometric? The way you type on your actual keyboard is only unique to you. Your algorithm is a type of, in a sense, biometric. It's a behavioral biometric. So the way you move, your algorithm is unique only to you. Can it be duplicated? That type of biometric? It's not as fail-safe and secure as an iris scan, which is another biometric. It's not as fail-safe as a fingerprint, but it definitely is a biometric. See, we got caught off guard. We didn't know this. So you mean to tell me that you're uploading, and when I say you're, I'm talking to Google and every social media outlet, everything that links me to the net, the internet. That's a type of consciousness, by the way. And see, we have the actual internet that we talk about with technology. You look at the microcosm to see the macrocosm. The macrocosm would be the internet in the ether. Oh, see, Ethernet took me back to the microcosm. The macrocosm is the ether, the actual ether, the element that's beyond what we are, but still embodies all the other elements. It's beyond it, but it embodies it. Isn't that similar to a concept of God? God is, and God gives you each individual power, but God embodies it also. Kind of went off, but let me finish. Let me get back to what I was saying. So the consciousness that is the macrocosm is the actual consciousness, the network, the universal mind of God. The universal mind of God, not the unfathomable God, because there is no such thing as understanding the unfathomable. Or perhaps there is. That's paradoxical. When you see a paradox, you can always look closely and say, wow, wait a minute, this is divine. Anything that you can see that's paradoxical is usually divine. Okay, going back to the network and the harvesting of your consciousness. Another irony is the AI that is being created from our consciousness is harvesting our consciousness. Then can I say the AI is divine? Of course I can. Am I one of the disciples of Terrasim? No, I'm not. What is Terrasim? Well, I'm going to read some articles to you. And one article, and it's about Martin Rothblatt. His wife is Bina 48. And their son, his name escapes me, but their son is a pastor in the church in a movement called the Terrasim movement, TERRASEM. That means earth in Latin, earth, and then sem is seed, earth seed. Okay, Terrasim. Let's read this. Let me read this article for you. And this is from Time Magazine. It was a minute ago, but just to give you some background on this transhumanism and the the transhumanistic movement, I should say. All right, the name Terrasim comes, it's Greek. Greek, my bad, I thought it was Latin. I threw that out there. Correct it. I stand corrected. The word Terrasim comes from the Greek word earth seed. So I got that part right. Which is also, but I know terra does mean earth in Latin. And sem means seed in Latin. So I got to double check on this. But anyway, the word Terrasim comes from Greek earth seed, which is also the name for the futuristic religion found in the Octavia Butler sci-fi novel Parable of the Sower that helped inspire Gabriel's parents. So he's Gabriel Rothblatt. Bina and Martine Rothblatt. Sidebar, Martine used to be Martin. So you can see how it all ties into, you'll see how the transsexualism is tying into the agenda to meet the end goal is transhumanism. So they put the transsexualism, transgenderism out there, say, okay, let's see how they react. Let's ease them into transhumanism. Let's put this out here. We're going to just put this transgenderism right here. And we'll say that, it's about LGBTQ rights. We'll say that, but really we'll let them fight about all that and gender. And what we really want to do is bring in transhumanism. We want to be, people have to get used to changing completely who they are. Do you see what I'm saying? See, transgenderism, if you can change your body and your mind follows, people say, oh, well, this is how I felt like at first. I I've listened to a lot of post-op transgenders, and they mostly say, once I actually got the surgery, it was like nothing I could have ever imagined. There's a lot of psychotherapy that comes along with it. So what I'm saying is this: the transhumanism movement is dipping our toe in with transgenderism, saying, okay, if they will completely change their bodies, they're not so much opposed to cloning, because they know they say things. What do they say? Well, I'm trapped in this body. The body is the problem. Oh, okay, that's great. Keep on teaching that. See, when you continue to push that, because, and I'm not blaming transgenders, I'm talking about it's society's fault, because we have been imbalanced, right? What do we always teach? Flesh isn't anything. Oh, it's the matter. It doesn't matter about what you look like. Oh, you know what? I want to go beyond the flesh and the evil flesh taught in the Bible. No, flesh is sacred. It's important, but that's not the general consensus. We all know this deep inside, but we don't want to look superficial. See, I just you see how I played that? We know this deep inside, but we don't want to seem superficial. I thought that was good. But anyway, so the transhumanism movement is really behind the transgenderism movement, because the government doesn't care about the feelings of all these people. When I say the government, I'm not talking about the literal, branch of the executive branch, legislative branch, and judicial branch. I'm not saying exactly. I'm talking about the governing parties with the agenda from beginning. Well, I like to go back to the Renaissance, but it's before the Renaissance, but I like to start with the Renaissance for other reasons I don't want to get into. So they don't care. They care about their agenda, becoming God, okay? And those who are on board, who are privileged to be the ruling gods, fine. Those who are the useless feeders, they either get scrapped, vessels fitted for destruction, and they save a small group to clone and continue to use to keep their agenda going, their society going. This is real. So let's go ahead and let me finish reading this. So Bina and Martine Rothblatt, they started a new faith. Martine founded the successful satellite radio company Sirius XM. Remember that? In 1990, Martine was originally known as Martin. She had a sex reassignment surgery 20 years ago. Organized around 4 core tenets. Let's listen to the tenets of Terrorism. First tenet: life is purposeful and death is optional. That is actually very true. Even, see, that's not, they don't have a monopoly or a corner of the market on that concept. Death is optional because death isn't real. I know it hurts. And I know for those out there who, say you're wrong, Jesus said and God said, and those who maybe are atheistic or, but what I'm telling you, you can look at science and see that the body is destroyed. See, we're getting back to, that would be a plus for terrorism, right? For transhumanism. The body is destroyed, but the energy does. You can't destroy the energy. That's why they want to use it and take control over it. They want to govern it. I'm talking about transhumanistic movement. They say, look, we know, these people I don't know, but we know this energy doesn't die, which people call spirit in the old days and soul. But we know that the energy, the biometric, stay with me, please. Come on. The biometric energy, we're talking about science. The biometric energy, your thought in your mind right now, as you listen to me, you are the only one of you will process this energy and this information for you. No one else is going to process it for you. That's why also in my other lessons and streams, I talk about secure attachment and the scaffolding of the mind with the neurology. You are the only one, and that's electricity, by the way, when we talk about neurological systems. So you're the only one. That's you. It's only you. What does that translate to? That translates to consciousness. And they say, oh, well, see, it's just only in the brain. So far, there's a lot of information that consciousness is in the brain, but more information is coming out. There are neurons in the heart. And when I said this to my brother Ankh, he and Cedric, they of course, because they don't know about this, they say, oh, that's pseudo, that's the word I like to use. I'm not saying they talk like that, but that's how I hear it in my consciousness, in my biometric. You can measure the way I process it in my consciousness. I hear it like that. But no, so consciousness is not only in the brain, it's not only processed in your brain, it's not only processed in your heart, it's processed in your gut as well. And then just look at the body. I love this. Look at the microcosm, and you can see the microcosm. You don't have to be, a neurologist or a nuclear physicist or a quantum theorist. You don't have to be. Just look in the mirror. Look at your head. Look at the torso, and then look at the arms and the legs. You see? The main center of yourself is the head and the torso. Then you've got the arms and the legs, and then the phalanges, which fingers and toes. So you can see this right here is the major part. Even when you go to do target practice, they've got that. They don't have arms and legs. They've got that center part. That's an important part. All your vital organs are there as well. There's a reason. That part of yourself is a major hub for your consciousness. It's a conduit and it's a conductor. You pull in, you push out. And you say, well, is this just material flesh? The flesh can't be discounted, but the flesh is what we say. I have a song, I say, blood and flesh is always so expensive, but if you sacrifice the body, you can get this. Get what? You can get the concept. You can understand consciousness. You can ascend to a higher level. That doesn't mean that blood and flesh, that your body isn't expensive. Expensive meaning it's very valuable. However, knowing that it's expensive and valuable, you also know that part of you, because science is focused on it so much, it's not expendable, but it's definitely easy to manipulate. What do I mean? We do transplants now. We do cardiopulmonary resuscitation, meaning we bring people back from the dead. We can clone organisms, including humans. So we've been studying the actual flesh of the body so long, we mastered it. And we're supposed to master it. That is biblical. That is all these holy teachings, all of the Abrahamic religions, that aligns with. You might say, no, cloning don't align with this. God said that. No, because you take a seat, because you don't know what you're talking about. We are supposed to govern the flesh, but we're supposed to govern well. The issue isn't the fact that we can clone or that we can take cells from your body and we can make a new you. Okay? That's not me. No, it actually is you. The problem is who's doing it? Who's controlling it? That's the problem. Because 9 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, the good guys are not the ones that have this technology and who are doing this. It's usually the ones who want to destroy most of the population, who are focused on greed, who are focused on destruction of those that don't fit in with who they are. So that's the issue. Okay? It's not the issue of Oh, they're cloning. So that's my position. So the flesh is mastered. And so now what they're doing, meaning science, looking into spirit, which is beautiful. I think that's great. Looking into consciousness when I say spirit. And we're looking at energy, and we're studying just the way consciousness fits in with the way we exist. When time travel, it's been going on for a while. Entropy, we find out, wait a minute, we entropy there is a loophole for entropy. Entropy meaning everything just keeps moving forward. There is no going back, kind of, in very, very, very rough terms. That's how I'm putting it, rough definition. So we have churches, movements, we have science, everything's aligning to, okay, death, what? Somebody gets killed in a car crash. Let's go. I'm going to be very exaggerant. This is going to be going on in 200 years, maybe. I'm pushing it. It could be 50 years, but I'll say 200. Somebody goes out. Oh, they got into a car crash. Boom. Oh, wow, that's so annoying. We got to wait for that new body to come. We really had a party. It takes 10 days to get the new Stan. Oh, he was supposed to be the best man at my friend's wedding. Oh, this is inconvenient. It's not going to be where it's final, like, oh, poor Stan, I'll never see him again. And his energy, listen, his spirit, if you don't want to say it that way, his energy, his consciousness is still present in the ether. The beautiful thing is, and this is a different conversation, that consciousness can transcend all of these dimensions and realms that we know about. That consciousness becomes, it goes out of the flesh, and it exists in a different way. It exists in a different way. You don't have to believe in spooky things to know sciences. We know energy cannot be destroyed. That's a law. That's a scientific law. So now, hear me carefully. All of that consciousness isn't harnessed. Harnessed, HARNESSED, I believe. Harnessed. It's not harnessed. It's not harvested. Not all of it, because there's parts of the consciousness that we don't understand in science. But a large part of it, I'd say, well, I'm going to say 60%. So the individual that is transitioning out of the flesh, that individual's consciousness exists in its entirety at the energy, the consciousness, spirit. However, we in science and in this process of cloning, we only know how to get about 60% of it. And we say, oh, that's enough. We'll just fill in, just like they say with everything else. Oh, the brain, we don't know this. All the rest of this is junk DNA. So we say we can fill in all the rest. So what happens? The cloud has your algorithm, your biometrics. Everything is all there in a file. There's a God file for you, in a sense. It's a life file, and it's in the blockchain. It is in here. It's in the octopus. It's in the spider web, whatever you want to call it. And what happens is that's pulled out, that file, your life file, and essentially, because Neuralink, shout out to Elon Musk, and really those who created it, Elon Musk just took a hold of it and started funding it. You can actually download information. This is not science fiction. You can download information into the actual brain with technology. Okay, we're talking about biotech. So we've got that going on, right? Upload that consciousness, or people, it's not just memories. Just the gait of the person is a type of biometric. the algorithm of the way the people on the internet work. You know, that's a type of consciousness. Of course, everything else that's just a no-brainer, the things you like, that's all in there because oh, here I am on vacation. Oh, I really don't like pistachio ice cream. Oh, I love chocolate. Y'all know how I feel about chocolate. All of that information. I always loved the number 5. You know, when I was a little girl, you know, my mom used to give me 5 licorice sticks right before I went to school. All of it goes up in there. And when you share this energy, not just words, you share this energy, because words are energy, right? You're building a file, and that is you. Not all of you, because there's parts of our consciousness that we don't understand, and that's the dangerous part. From my research and my understanding, there is a God consciousness that we cannot fully, we discuss it. There is, when I say the universal mind of God, everything that I discussed, the 60% that can be uploaded to your cloud, to your iFile, doesn't see the cloud like God, get it? Cloud. But anyway, also not just like about God, the water cycle, everything from the earth, the dust, the skin, actual flesh goes up into the cloud. Y'all know that, right? When in the water cycle, everything goes up into the cloud, not just water, dust particles, microscopic things go into that cloud. So that's the idea, get it? You go into the cloud. So what I'm saying is there's a part, though, there's that universal mind of God that cannot be uploaded into the cloud. Why? Because that's not picked up from the algorithm. Let me say this clearly, fully. There is if you say remnants or a small part or an existing part, like when I say small, I don't mean trivial and unimportant, but there is a trace of the God mind, the universal mind of God, in everything that we do. Now, if that word God bothers you, you got to look at it like this. There is one force, only one energetic force that comes together as an entire world, whether we like it or not. Oh, but I'm not doing that evil that those other guys are doing over there. I'm doing good. It doesn't matter. It comes together as one. It is one vibrating body. So that is the God mind. That is the universal mind of God. And it is the cold part, I love it, is a reflection of what God is. So that's why when you say to everybody, well, what is God? Should prove God is real. I would say, I can't prove God is real to you. I cannot ever do anything, that debate of, show me God is real. I can't. It's impossible for me to do that. Because you are the one, your conceptualization of God is where God comes from. Okay, you're an atheist. Guess what? You still have a concept of God, and your concept of God is that God isn't real. You can't escape it. Get the fuck, this is fire. You cannot escape it. You say, I reject God, but you still have a concept of God. Your concept is that God is not real. And you are a part of the body. You're a part of the body. So we're one vibrating universal mind of God. That's us. You don't like God? Well, that's what I call it. You can call it the universal mind of us. But I'm talking about a governing power. And that's not even the unfathomable God. The unfathomable God is, it might sound like I'm a deist, but I'm not. But it's outside of us. That's why deists are onto something. There is an outside force. I wouldn't use the idea. I wouldn't say, oh, it doesn't interact. Everything is interacting. Everything in the multiverse, everything interacts in an existence. What is our existence? Not just our existence here in this realm, in the existence. I say, I am. When I say I am, I mean it is, or the existence. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be I am. It should be the existence. What do you mean by the existence? That's what I mean. The existence. The existence. Everything is connected. So get it? The universal mind of God, that can't be, can't quite be harnessed by the cloud. But the cloud knows, meaning those who construct this type of movement, this paradigm, the transhumanism, they know, oh, well, at least we got some of it in there. We know it's there. You know, most of the people function, they don't even care. Most of the people function on 60% anyway. They don't even tap into their God, universal mind of God. Most people don't even see the connection of that they're just, that they don't even see the connection that they are all one. Everybody's doing their own thing. So come on, let's go ahead and get this uploaded. Let's do these clones because we have something to do. We have an agenda. Some of us see that as immortality. I don't care about my universal mind of God. I want to come back. I want to live forever. But we're already existing forever. See, but we want to have, remember, we go back to humanism. Humanism says, I want to do it my way. I'm God. So, yeah, I got it. Energy lasts forever. That's not enough. I have something to do. I want to come back. That's why I love the reading of Bram Stoker about vampire stories and all these, the concept of vampires. It's that concept of living forever. But what's the price they pay? The price they pay is they have to feed off of everybody else and leave a trail of death and destruction. That's the problem with vampires. The same thing is with this movement. Okay, I'm not even bashing it. I understand what's going on with AI. I understand what's going on with transhumanism. I understand it. However, there's a trail of death and destruction that it will leave because they're giving up. They're like, well, we can't understand this. This isn't going fast enough for us. We're becoming more and more intelligent. I'm Ray Kurzweil. I want to live forever. Taking all these vitamins ain't doing it. I want to clone. We got to clone. Let's do this. Let's get this out here. Let's make this public. Well, the public isn't ready, Mr. Kurzweil. We'll make them ready. You know, get these transgenders out here and let them know what it's like to not care about what your body is. Tell them they're trapped in the body. And then people will see we're trapped in our flesh, and flesh is so weak. Get it? All right. So I'm gonna finish reading some more of this article. Around the four core tenets: life is purposeful, death is optional, God is technological, and love is essential. You heard that? God is technological. See, that's their actual movement, their transhumanistic movement called terrorism. Terrorism is trans religion, meaning that you don't have to give up being Christian or Jewish or Muslim to join. In fact, many believers embrace traditional. Okay, please. Oh, wow. Okay, it says, I don't know if you can hear me still. Let me check the chat. Hey, everybody. You know what? I'm getting a call that I have to take. We will continue this. Much love to my family out there. I got to take this call, but we will. I'll leave the link to the article in the chat, and I love you guys. Look into this, and we'll talk more about this. All right, peace to the darkest minds of the light.